What is up, my fellow gamers? In today's video, we got our best beginner's guide for the brand new official global launch of Idle Strikers 1945. Like and sub for more amazing gaming content. All right, first thing I want to go over, and this is pretty important right off the bat, we're also going to go over the ships that we have, because that's also can be very, very confusing. There's a lot going on in this game. First, most important thing to understand is, as you're going through these stages, you're going to get to a point where you continuously fail and you're just not strong enough. Now, when that happens, that is when you want to go ahead and click the return button in the menu. So right now I'm kind of stuck at stage 375. I'm just kind of not strong enough. And instead of just kind of like crawling along and not really progressing, what you're going to do is go to this return button icon right here. What this does is it returns you all the way back to stage 1, but it also lets you choose a different world. They're going to be based on the different elements. Now, very important, before you click return, you're going to see at the bottom we have a reward ×2. If we go ahead and use some of our gems, go ahead and click next to it and get that green check mark, so that way you double your rewards. It's highly worth it. Make sure you always save some gems too. This is like one of the best ways to use your gems, is to get double rewards. Without double rewards, we're only getting 219,000 gold. Doubling it, we're getting almost 500,000. It is a huge difference. So we'll go ahead, we'll do that. We'll click return, we'll use our gems, and then we're just gonna get a huge rush of resources, and we're gonna start over back from level 1. Now, there's another thing that you can also do to help us like get faster and get back to where we were, because the main idea behind this game is you're going to be constantly resetting back to level 1 and then trying to skip ahead and get back to the highest level you were, so that way you can progress further on. So right now we're in the world selection. So initially everyone starts off in the neutral world, but we have like the fire world, water world, the wood world, and then this one is locked. You have to be level 900 for the chaos world. The main difference between the worlds is you're going to get a specific element token. So right here, the main return reward is going to be the neutral. This one is going to be the fire element. It's going to start me at stage 3 because I do have some upgrades, but in this right corner, right above the present box, this is going to let us go ahead and skip levels. So right now we're skipping all the way up to stage 46. So instead of having to AFK and wait for us to gradually get all the way up there, we're just boom, we're already at stage 51 now. And that's what you want to do. You can go ahead and watch ads. I personally wouldn't use my gems to do this. I would just watch ads, or if you do have the purchase item, to go ahead and skip ads for free and still do it. I highly recommend, if you want to buy one pack, buy that pack. This one right here, the unlimited one. It gives you unlimited autoplay and it skips all ads. This is by far the best pack. If you want to spend money, it's $7. You really don't need to buy anything else. This is the only like must purchase for you. But aside from that, you really just want to be using that rush, so that way you can go ahead and get to the highest stage. So at the top right here, it says I'm at stage 54. Our best stage is 375. So if we had a bunch of those rushes, we could rush all the way up to 375. And then because we're going to get stronger, because we got all of that huge influx of resources, we then can progress even further past our best stage. Because this is an important part of the game, trying to learn how to build these out. Now, the way this works is you just kind of spawn random ships, and they're going to be at different levels. Initially, they're always going to be at level 1, but you can do some upgrades so that you can have them start at a higher tier, which is what I have. And then you're just combining them. Now, these ones are really weak. You're not really worried about them. What we're more worried about is combining 2 of the tier 10s together, because that's what makes the big elite ships, the elite fighters. And those are what you can actually kind of like customize and build out, like RPG style of leveling it up, increasing different stats, increasing its weapon and different things like that. So that's what we're really looking out for. We're trying to get those 10s. Like this one right here, we have a tier 10 fighter. We just got to get another tier 10, combined it, and then it will randomly generate us one of the elites. And it's a complete random drop. If you go into the shop and you take a look at the top right, it says fighter fusion rate. This is basically the gacha system. It's a different way to do it, but it's the same idea. It's basically a gacha system, but you don't really necessarily have to pay any type of resources. You go ahead and you just summon the ships and you just combine them. And then once you combine 10 fighters, here are the different odds you have to get a rare, an epic, or a legendary, and all of the different ones. When it comes to going ahead and choosing your team, at the beginning, you're not going to have a lot of options, but what I highly recommend is you just choose your highest rarity first off. Specifically, I was choosing a lot of my legendaries over the rares and the epics, and that's because they're just naturally stronger. You're going to start to get duplicate fighters. And as you go ahead and click on one of these fighters, it's going to have this little icon right here where you can evolve it, which is basically like awakening it. You're going to increase its star count. And it is very, very expensive. You're going to need some of these like stones right here, this currency. And you're also going to need a lot of gold. Now, early on, you're going to get to a point where some of these like rares, you're going to have an ass load of them. I mean, right now I've got 17 copies of this rare one. And if you go ahead and you start like combining these, right? We'll go ahead and we'll do it once. This is now 5-star. We could go ahead and we'll do it again. It's going to now require 2 copies, but look at the huge difference. I mean, it is a ridiculous amount just to go ahead and evolve it again after you get it to 5 stars. So like, even though we have a ridiculous amount of copies of it, it's not worth it because it's going to cost way too much gold. At that point, you're better off just investing in like a legendary that you only have 1 copy of and just jacking up the level as high as you can. Evolving them does give you a decent increase to their power. It's also going to give you the ability to increase some of their stats at the bottom. Initially, you're only going to be able to upgrade attack and HP with their specific elemental stones. But once you go ahead and start awakening them, is what I'm going to call it, or evolving them, the different star counts, then you have other options. So right now we could increase our defense pen. We also have our defense. Once we get it to 6 stars, then we have access to crit rate upgrade and then team attack upgrade. Also at the bottom, you're going to notice that we have an in effect. As we go ahead and increase their star count, we're going to get a huge percentage to different stats. This changes depending on the fighter. Some fighters will increase their attack. Some will go ahead and increase their defense, their HP. So you got to kind of look and see which ones are worth evolving. The other amazing thing about this game is though, you can't really make any mistakes upgrading anything because everything can be recycled. So I highly recommend you also just go ahead and experiment with all the different fighters you have, try out different things. Because if you ever go ahead and invest in something and you don't like it, all you got to do is click the little recycle icon and you get everything back for free, no matter what. So it's going to get all of our gold back, all of the elemental stones we went ahead and used to increase their stats at the bottom right here. I invested a lot. I got this one up to 38. And we just reset it. We'll get everything back and we can throw it on another fighter. And you can do it endlessly. There's no drawback to it. You can go ahead, invest in whatever you want, recycle, invest. So it's definitely worth like building out one fighter first and trying to max it out, like dumping everything into one fighter and then starting on another fighter and another fighter. There really isn't any advantage to kind of spreading everything out. The other thing that's very important that I've also noticed is you want to have your main team be different elements because then it's going to be a lot easier for you to go ahead and upgrade their stats at the bottom. If you have a team and a lot of them are like the same element, it's going to be really hard to upgrade them because then you're going to have to start spreading your resources over multiple fighters and you don't really want to do that. It's better if I have like one specific fighter that's this element and then I can just dump everything into the attack. As far as your upgrades go for your lab, some of these are really important and some of them you're not going to notice a huge difference. The one that I really find the most important is going to be the rush stages. Reduce your rush cooldown because like I said, you're constantly going to be resetting back to level 1 and then trying to rush back up so that way you get all those resources because you reset. And also increase the number of rush stages. You want this as high as possible because you want to get back to where you were and you want to complete that cycle. You don't want to have to start back at level 1 on that stage and then you got to AFK for like an hour just to climb all the way back. I have some of these kind of maxed out where higher tier fighter launch rate. We now have tier 4 fighter launch rate at 50%. I'm going to have a higher evolution. I'm not going to have like a typical level 1. Like, see how they go ahead and I'm getting higher rarities right off the bat when I'm doing this. Instead, if you don't have that, every time you do this, you're gonna start off with a level 1 fighter, and then you got to combine 2 more, and it kind of makes it more grindier. Starting off with a higher level fighter is definitely a lot better than just increasing like the speed rate of it at which you're able to go ahead and spam this button, or increasing like the amount that you can kind of hold. Like right now I have 12. You could spend a bunch of your resources to increase it to 13, so you could have a max of 13. It's really not as good as just kind of initially, like, you click the button and you get a fighter level 3, a fighter level 4. Like, that is way better, and it makes everything a lot faster. But that is it. I hope you guys and girls enjoyed the video. Comment down below if you want me to make some more videos on this game, if there's something specific you want me to cover. The game's pretty cool. It's got a lot going on with it. Stay happy, stay safe. I'll see y'all later. Peace.